Guys, I finally did it. I got my first podium in Jedi F1000. But it was not easy. It was a chaotic race with a lot of drama. I had 2 protests against me for my driving. And someone even crashed into me. So in this video, I'm going to show you the following. Highlights from my race on board. I'll then break down the protests against me, explain a little bit about what happened there and what the result and outcome was. I'll also show you Rob crashing into me. And excitingly, I've even got Matt Higginson's Onboard. So I'll show you his highlights as he battled all the way back from P7 to P2, including even his overtake on me. So let me tell you about this insane race. This is Sunday morning, race 2 of the weekend at Cadwell Park. The day before, Saturday afternoon, I had just got my best performance and my best result ever, P4, just outside of the podium positions. I beat my teammate Tom Westworths for the first time ever. I was on a roll. I was starting P5, but Craig Pollard, the defending 24 champion, was starting P2 on the front row. He was a dead cert to win this race. Adam Walker was in P1. Adam's a very good driver and been in the series for over 18 years now. However, he was on old tyres, so his pace wasn't quite there. Eric Cow was a rookie this season. He was delivering performances way above his experience and a decent driver. However, at Snetterton, I was able to go round him pretty easily, so I wasn't too worried here. Tom Westworths, my teammate, was starting next to me in P4. He's been karting since he was a kid and in F1000 a year longer than me. Directly behind me were the fast guys, Matt Higginson, James Clennell and Rob Wellham, the 22 champion. I knew I had to get the move either into turn 1 or on the straight after turn 3. The longer you wait, the quicker the guys behind are going to overtake. If I messed up this start, like I'm very prone to doing, this could ruin everything. This was the most pressure I had felt in a race. This was my best opportunity to finish on the podium. But there was an issue that didn't really help the nerves.
Okay guys, listen up so I can do both of you at the same time. Oil at the bottom of the mountain, alright, from the mountain approach up the top. There's some oil, new oil. There's oil all the way around the circuit from Mazda 7s, but that's been dressed previously. Alright, so just be careful first laps until you know what's happening. Alright?
Not what you want to hear before going out to race at Cadwell Park. Not what you want to hear before the most important race of your life. So here we go then. Start the race here. If you notice Tom on the right, he's a bit further forward than he should be. So the lights are on and they're out. We get a cracking start. Tom's bogging there and so is Adam in front and Eric Cow. So we just pick our path through. Adam moves over a little bit, but we just keep the foot pinned around the outside. Short shift to 6th, just with the cold tyres, and then getting right up behind Craig here and following his line. Obviously you can see James in my mirror, kicking up some of that concrete powder and trying to lay the throttle down here. But we've managed to fuck it up. But we're just sitting in the middle of the track here, following the curve of the line, and just blocking James from being able to get past us. So late on the brakes, a little bit of a lock up there, and keeping onto the back of Craig here. Lifted a little, all the concrete powder flicking up. It was pretty intense in the helmet, I'll tell you that. Obviously Craig is the one going first here through a lot of the oil and a lot of the unknown on the track, so I obviously could just follow and copy what he did and obviously react to anything he would react to. But yeah, he had to pioneer, you know, he was the one going through this first. Oil at the bottom of the mountain, as they said, we definitely were a bit nervous. Look at all that concrete powder, it was ridiculous how much was down, honestly. And yeah, he sort of disappeared from us here, going into the S's. Really slippery part here, and we're just going around the final 2 corners. Obviously I'm getting nervous for the final corner with my history here, but yeah, we get to the end of the first lap and I'll just be fast forwarding to some of the other highlights from this race. So on to lap 2, back onto the main straight again really, and again we've got a poor exit, so we're just sticking into the middle of the road, following the line, James doesn't really have anywhere to go, and this is actually the move that he then protested about afterwards, what was reviewed by the steward. Flown past Kaylee on the 5th lap, jumped forward quite a little bit. Now Rob Wellham's got past James Clennell behind me. A lap later, on lap 6, we've got another poor exit onto the straight. Really was probably the worst corner for me on this race day, but again with Rob just sitting in the middle, not really doing anything. And apparently his front wing hit the grass, which was a lot longer than expected, and damaged a bit of the front wing. So unfortunately something heartbreaking happened again, which hasn't happened for a long time here at my channel, Chapman's Corner. My GoPro died on lap 8 and corrupted the file, which meant I lost most of the footage from my first podium. Fortunately, the guys at Field's Data Recovery was able to recover most of this footage, as you have seen today. I'm very lucky that a service like this is available as a content creator. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to relive these awesome moments on track. So the race ended in quite a peculiar fashion. As you can see, I got P3. On the final lap, Rob Wellham went for a move into the second to last corner. Very tight hairpin, and wasn't able to pull it off, ended up hitting me. So he bounced over the roof of my car onto the grass, and I followed him. I then managed to get the car back on track. The wheel was completely bent, and drive over the line. Now on the last corner, my teammate Tom Westworths overtook me, but because he had a 10-second penalty from starting out of position, I managed to finish on the podium in P3. Unfortunately, I can't show you the onboard of Rob going over my head, which is a massive shame. What I can show you though is some incredible moments from Matt Higginson's onboard. The guy is an absolute machine, especially at Cadwell. I can't believe he got from 7th to P2. His overtake on me was awesome, and some of the near misses he had with others was pretty interesting to see. So enjoy 1 minute of highlights as he battles his way to the front. So his race start was very interesting. Great launch following me. Clennell's moving over a bit because Cowell's gone slow. He's gone onto the grass, been pushed on, going through the concrete powder, but somehow kept it moving forward. A little ways later after the straight, he's following Tom a little bit late on the brakes and nudges the rear of Tom. Then he's following Tom again through the gooseneck, carrying so much speed. All that dirt getting kicked up. He's kind of shown his face, but Tom's shut the door, definitely not letting him through there. Then on the straight, it looks like he's going to go for a move into turn 1 up the inside. I've definitely been a victim of this, but fair play to Tom and Matt, closing the door and not making contact. Wow. And a little ways later, he's caught up to me. So this is on lap 9. So like I said, really jumping ahead. Just showing you a couple of bits where I've made a mistake there, locked up. I'm all over the place with him putting pressure on me. There's only a matter of time before he's going to get me. Definitely not letting it happen into turn 1 though. And he very nearly went into the back of me there. Probably not expecting me to slow up as much, but just really struggling around these final 2 corners as usual. Deploying the smokescreen 007 style. So then he's following me towards the gooseneck here. Again, he's just carrying a lot more speed through here. He's much more confident on the throttle. I mean, yeah, I wasn't looking at my mirrors at that point. Quite glad I wasn't. But look at that pace that he's carrying through there. This is obviously the advantage of a fixed camera as well. So compared to my very smooth GoPro, seeing a lot more of the speed differential here. And he's following me into the mountain quite a lot of distance, braking later than me, carrying more speed up the mountain. And I had a little snap there, so he goes past me, but very close. And as you can see, I wasn't too happy about making that mistake, but I'm still in a podium position. So I was summoned to race control to discuss my driving, both the incident with Rob Wellham, who thought that I had turned in on him, and also James Clennell, who, whilst I was defending fairly aggressively on the straight, he believed that I was weaving, so both submitted protests against my driving. The thing about the straight with Cadwell Park, it actually moves around and isn't a straight line. If you sit in the middle and follow the road, it kind of does the defending for you. The track's so thin that you're just able to sit there in the middle. Obviously, straight after the race with adrenaline pumping and emotions pretty high, it can be quite easy to argue with other drivers. And obviously I do want to get on with everyone. Fortunately for myself, both cases were dismissed. It was decided that Rob had gone for a gap that didn't quite exist. When you actually watch the external cam, you can see that his rear clipped mine first. I was also trying to stay out of the way and hadn't turned in. It's incredible that I was able to get back on the circuit, considering that I was driving with a wheel quite wonky down the straight and still managing to finish P4 on track. But considering Tom had a 10-second penalty for starting out of position, I got really lucky in the sense that I was able to A, cross the line after coming off, and B, still finish P4 close enough to Tom to allow me to get my first podium finish. It's a little bit of a shame that my first race podium was shrouded in both protests, crashes, and losing the footage of probably one of the best moments of my life. So it was a little bit of a bittersweet moment. However, I'm obviously over the moon to finally get a podium. So overall, I'm really happy with getting my first podium, of course. I even got a hat that came with it, which is pretty cool. I look terrible in hats, but as you lot have seen my hairline, it's probably a good idea that I can start wearing this after I've taken my helmet off and I'm dealing with the hair issue. What it does mean for me and the championship is that I'm no longer eligible to be part of the Clubman Championship, which is best of the rest, everyone past P5 and down. We have our own championship, otherwise it's pretty boring. Everyone, the fast guys at the front usually are competing for the main championship. We get a sort of best of the rest, which is an awesome thing to try and win. Last year I just missed out on P3 on that championship and the Clubman Championship due to some DNFs. So this year I'm actually now out of that because I got a podium and I will no longer be competing in that. It does mean with my DNFs this year that I'm not doing too well in the total championship, but obviously I'd rather deliver some pretty decent performances if I have to have DNFs that may be mechanical and some that aren't. So what I will be showing in the next video, the fourth and final installment of this 4-part Cadwell series, will be race 3 at Cadwell. Obviously coming off of this amazing performance, my first podium, I was absolutely buzzing. I was going to be starting P3 on the grid as well, so I had a really good opportunity here to hold another podium. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, you hit the like button on this video, which would really help support me in this journey. So for the final race at Cadwell Park, I was starting P3. This was based on the fastest lap of race 2. So this is now my highest starting position for any race based on my actual performance in the race, not a reverse grid. Starting P3, surely I can deliver another podium here. Surely I'm not going to mess this up.